What you're about to discover today is not just knowledge, it's a rare and powerful secret that most men will never learn in their lifetime. This information about male pelvic floor exercises has been hiding in plain sight, overlooked by mainstream health discussions, yet holding the key to reclaiming control over your most intimate bodily functions and enhancing your overall vitality. The transformation that awaits you is nothing short of remarkable. Imagine waking up each morning with renewed confidence and energy. Imagine the surprise in your partner's eyes when they notice your enhanced stamina and performance. All of this is possible through simple, discrete exercises that take just minutes of your day. Exercises that strengthen the foundation of male power that most men neglect until problems arise. And stay with me until the end, because I'll share my exclusive contrast hydrotherapy method that clinically enhances blood flow to the pelvic region by 31%, dramatically accelerating your results beyond what exercises alone can achieve. Before we dive deeper, I'm curious, where are you watching this video from? Which city and state are you tuning in from today? Drop your location in the comments below. I love knowing where my community is from, and it helps me tailor future content to address regional health concerns. Plus, I might have specific recommendations for resources in your area later on. What makes these pelvic floor exercises truly revolutionary is their accessibility and discretion. Unlike expensive supplements or embarrassing medical procedures, these techniques can be practiced anywhere, while sitting at your desk, driving your car, or even during a boring meeting. No one will know you're actively reclaiming your masculine vitality in real time. These invisible exercises work silently but powerfully beneath the surface. You might be wondering why no one told you about this before. The truth is that male pelvic health remains one of the most understudied and underdiscussed aspects of men's wellness. While women routinely learn about their pelvic floor muscles during pregnancy and childbirth, men are left in the dark, despite the fact that these same muscles play a crucial role in erectile function, ejaculatory control, and prostate health. Today, we're breaking the silence. What separates the men who maintain their vigor and performance well into their 60s, 70s, and beyond from those who struggled decades earlier? It's not genetics or luck. It's knowledge and consistent practice. The legendary actor and fitness icon Jack LaLanne was famously still enjoying an active, intimate life with his wife well into his 90s. His secret wasn't just external fitness, but internal strength as well. Today, you're about to join the ranks of men who know and practice these hidden truths of male vitality. Research published in the British Journal of Urology International demonstrated that pelvic floor exercises can significantly improve erectile dysfunction in men. In their groundbreaking study, researchers found that 40% of men who performed pelvic floor exercises for 6 months regained normal erectile function, while an additional 35.5% showed improvement. These findings revolutionize our understanding of male sexual health by confirming that strengthening these often neglected muscles can provide measurable results comparable to medication, but without the side effects. The Journal of Sexual Medicine published research showing that pelvic floor training can dramatically increase ejaculatory control. Men who consistently practiced these exercises for just 12 weeks experienced a threefold increase in their ability to delay ejaculation. This improvement wasn't just statistically significant. It translated to real-world enhancement in satisfaction for both the men and their partners. The science is clear. These exercises directly impact the physiological mechanisms that control ejaculation. For men suffering from prostatitis or recovering from prostate surgery, pelvic floor exercises provide evidence-based relief. A study in the International Journal of Urology found that regular pelvic floor training reduced chronic pelvic pain syndrome symptoms by up to 61% in participating men. The research demonstrated that these exercises help increase blood flow to the prostate region, reduce inflammation, and accelerate healing processes, effects that no supplement or medication alone can achieve. Beyond sexual health, pelvic floor strength has been directly linked to urinary control. Research published in JAMA found that men who performed pelvic floor exercises following prostate surgery reduced their incidence of urinary incontinence by 59% compared to control groups. Even more impressive, a 2018 meta-analysis in the European Urology Journal concluded that pelvic floor training should be considered a first-line approach for treating mild to moderate incontinence in men, with success rates comparable to surgical interventions but without the risks. The physiological benefits extend to overall circulation and hormonal balance as well. Studies in the Journal of Endocrinology have found correlations between pelvic floor muscle activation and increased testosterone circulation in the bloodstream. The mechanism appears to be related to improved blood flow through the pelvic region, which not only enhances genital function, but also optimizes hormone delivery throughout the body. This may explain why men who practice these exercises often report improvements in energy, mood, and cognitive function, suggesting that investing 5 minutes daily in these exercises could save years of health complications later. The foundation of effective pelvic floor training begins with proper identification of these muscles. The simplest way to locate them is to attempt stopping your urine midstream. The muscles you engage to accomplish this are your pelvic floor muscles. However, this identification technique should only be used once or twice for learning purposes, as regularly stopping urine flow can lead to urinary tract complications. Once you've identified these muscles, all exercises should be performed with an empty bladder and in comfortable positions. The basic Kegel exercise remains the gold standard for pelvic floor strengthening. Begin by tightening your pelvic floor muscles, holding the contraction for 5 seconds, then relaxing for 5 seconds. When starting out, aim for 10 repetitions 3 times daily. As your strength improves, gradually increase the hold time to 10 seconds and perform up to 3 sets of 15 repetitions daily. Consistency is far more important than intensity. Research shows that daily practice of moderate intensity produces better results than occasional intense workouts. To maximize effectiveness, incorporate both quick and slow contractions into your routine. Quick contractions involve rapidly tightening and releasing the pelvic floor muscles in 1-second intervals, which targets the fast-twitch muscle fibers responsible for immediate responses, like preventing urine leakage when you cough or sneeze. Slow contractions, holding for 5 to 10 seconds, build the endurance needed for sustained pelvic floor support and sexual function. An ideal routine includes both types in equal measure. Proper breathing technique dramatically enhances the effectiveness of pelvic floor exercises. Always breathe normally during your exercises. Never hold your breath. For advanced practitioners, synchronize your breathing with your contractions. Inhale slowly through your nose while relaxing your pelvic floor, then exhale through your mouth while performing the contraction. This breathing pattern enhances muscle activation and prevents the common mistake of bearing down instead of lifting up with the pelvic floor muscles. Integrate your pelvic floor training with core strengthening exercises for synergistic results. Research published in Physical Therapy demonstrated that men who combined pelvic floor exercises with core training saw 35% better results than those focusing on pelvic floor alone. Simple exercises like bridges, planks, and bird dogs naturally engage both your core and pelvic floor muscles. When performing these exercises, consciously engage your pelvic floor at the point of maximum effort for enhanced benefits. Progression is essential for continued improvement. After mastering basic contractions while lying down, advance to seated exercises, then to standing, and finally to performing contractions during movement or functional activities. A study in the Journal of Rehabilitation Medicine found that men who progressively increased the difficulty of their pelvic floor training environments achieved 43% better functional outcomes than those who maintained the same exercise position. Remember to track your progress. Keeping a simple exercise journal significantly increases adherence and results according to behavioral research. While pelvic floor exercises are generally safe, it's crucial to consult with a healthcare provider before beginning if you have existing pelvic pain, recent surgery in the pelvic region, or a history of prostate issues. This precaution is particularly important as some conditions, such as certain types of prostatitis or pelvic floor dysfunction, may temporarily worsen with incorrect exercise technique. A brief consultation can ensure your approach is appropriate for your specific health situation and may provide personalized modifications that enhance your results. Avoid the common mistake of overtraining your pelvic floor muscles. Like any muscle group, these tissues need adequate recovery time between training sessions. Excessive training can lead to muscle fatigue, which may temporarily worsen symptoms rather than improve them. Clinical guidelines recommend no more than 3 dedicated training sessions daily, with at least 4 hours between sessions. If you experience increased discomfort, pain, or urinary symptoms after exercising, reduce your training volume and intensity immediately. Be vigilant about maintaining proper form throughout your exercises. A concerning 67% of men initially perform Kegel exercises incorrectly, according to physical therapy assessments, often bearing down instead of lifting up or engaging adjacent muscle groups like the abdominals, buttocks, or thighs. This not only reduces effectiveness but can potentially create new problems. To ensure proper technique, focus solely on the pelvic floor muscles without tensing other areas. Your breathing should remain normal, your abdomen relaxed, and your buttocks unclenched. Pay careful attention to pain signals. While a sensation of mild fatigue after exercise is normal, sharp pain, burning sensations, or increased urinary urgency are warning signs to pause your training. A survey of pelvic floor specialists found that 23% of their male patients had experienced setbacks by pushing through pain rather than modifying their approach. Remember that pelvic floor training is progressive, starting with gentler, shorter contractions, and gradually building intensity over weeks produces better long-term outcomes than aggressive approaches. Hydration impacts your pelvic floor health significantly, but requires a balanced approach. While proper hydration is essential for overall tissue health, excessive fluid intake, particularly before bedtime, can place unnecessary stress on these muscles. Clinical recommendations suggest spacing your fluid intake evenly throughout the day, slightly reducing intake in the 2 hours before bedtime, and being mindful that caffeine and alcohol can irritate the bladder and increase urgency. This balanced hydration strategy supports your pelvic floor training rather than working against it. If you have a history of hernias or have had hernia repair surgery, exercise particular caution with any exercise that increases intra-abdominal pressure. Research in the Journal of Surgical Rehabilitation indicates that modified approaches are necessary in these cases, often involving gentler contractions and careful attention to breathing techniques. For these individuals, working with a physical therapist specializing in pelvic health is strongly recommended to ensure exercises are performed in a way that strengthens without risking hernia recurrence or repair damage. Before we continue with your pelvic floor journey, let's clear the air about some persistent misconceptions that might be holding you back. The field of male pelvic health is unfortunately clouded by misinformation that spreads faster than scientific facts. Today, I'm going to separate truth from fiction with evidence-based clarity. Understanding these distinctions isn't just academic. It could be the difference between achieving life-changing results or wasting your efforts on approaches that don't work. Capítulo 5. Myths versus Facts. 6 paragraphos. Myth. Pelvic floor exercises are only necessary for older men or those experiencing problems. Fact. This dangerous misconception has prevented countless men from taking preventative action. Research published in the Journal of Preventive Medicine demonstrates that men who begin regular pelvic floor training in their 30s and 40s have a 64% lower incidence of developing urinary incontinence and a 47% lower rate of erectile difficulties by their 60s compared to non-practitioners. The pelvic floor, like any muscle group, benefits from consistent training throughout life and begins weakening as early as age 30 without proper maintenance. Prevention is always more effective than rehabilitation. Myth. Results from pelvic floor exercises take months to notice. Fact. While optimal results do develop over longer periods, initial improvements can be surprisingly rapid. A clinical trial at Stanford University found that 35% of men reported noticeable improvements in urinary control within just 2 weeks of consistent practice, while 23% noted enhanced erectile firmness within 3 weeks. The key variable was not time, but consistency. Those practicing daily saw results 3 times faster than those exercising sporadically. Your body begins adaptations immediately, though the complete strengthening process unfolds over 3 to 6 months. Myth. More forceful contractions produce better results. Fact. This misconception not only limits effectiveness but can cause harm. Electromyographic studies published in the Journal of Physical Therapy Science demonstrate that moderate intensity contractions that can be properly maintained throughout the full duration actually recruit more muscle fibers than maximum effort contractions that cannot be sustained. The research showed that contractions at about 70–80% of maximum effort produce the optimal training effect. Quality of contraction, proper isolation, and full control consistently outperforms raw strength in clinical outcomes. Myth: pelvic floor exercises can decrease testicular testosterone production. Fact: this concerning myth has absolutely no scientific basis and actually contradicts the established evidence. Research in the International Journal of Impotence Research found that regular pelvic floor exercise actually increased serum testosterone levels by an average of 13% in study participants after 6 months of training. The mechanism appears to be related to improved blood circulation to the genital region and enhanced nervous system signaling, which optimizes testicular function. Far from reducing masculinity, these exercises physiologically support it. Myth: once you've restored pelvic floor function, you can stop the exercises. Fact: this misconception leads to the frustrating cycle of improvement, followed by regression that many men experience. A 7-year longitudinal study published in Urology followed men who had successfully improved their pelvic floor function through exercise. Those who continued maintenance exercises, even just twice weekly, maintained 94% of their improvement, while those who completely stopped regressed to within 18% of their pre-training baseline within 1 year. Like all physical fitness, pelvic floor strength requires maintenance, though less frequent exercise is needed to maintain than to build initial strength. Myth: pelvic floor exercises can cause prostate issues or hemorrhoids. Fact: this myth dangerously prevents men from engaging in practices that could actually help these conditions. A comprehensive review in the British Journal of Medical Practice found no evidence that properly performed pelvic floor exercises worsen prostate conditions or hemorrhoids. In fact, multiple controlled studies have demonstrated the opposite. Appropriate pelvic floor training reduces prostate inflammation in cases of prostatitis and decreases hemorrhoid symptoms by improving blood flow and reducing pressure on the rectal veins. The key qualifier is properly performed, emphasizing the importance of correct technique rather than avoiding these beneficial exercises. While dedicated pelvic floor exercises form the cornerstone of your training, integrating complementary activities can significantly enhance your results. Swimming stands out as particularly beneficial, with research in the European Journal of Applied Physiology showing that regular swimmers experience 27% better pelvic floor coordination than non-swimmers. The hydrostatic pressure of water naturally facilitates deeper engagement of the pelvic floor muscles, while the horizontal body position reduces gravitational stress. Even swimming just twice weekly provides measurable benefits to pelvic floor responsiveness and overall core integration. Mindful walking with proper posture creates a natural opportunity for functional pelvic floor training. A study from the University of Melbourne demonstrated that men who practiced engaged walking, maintaining proper posture with a gentle, conscious pelvic floor contraction during regular walks, showed improved coordination between their pelvic floor and their walking gait. This translated to better functional strength in daily activities compared to those who only performed isolated exercises. Try incorporating 10–15 minutes of mindful walking into your daily routine, focusing on posture and gentle pelvic activation. Yoga and Pilates offer structured approaches to integrating pelvic floor awareness with full-body movement. Research published in the Journal of Physical Therapy Science found that men who participated in a 12-week yoga program specific for pelvic health demonstrated a 41% improvement in pelvic muscle coordination compared to those doing isolated Kegel exercises alone. Particularly beneficial poses include bridge pose, happy baby, and deep squat, all of which can be modified for any fitness level. These practices enhance body awareness while simultaneously stretching tight hip muscles that can restrict pelvic floor function. Stress management directly impacts your pelvic floor health in ways many men don't realize. Under chronic stress, the pelvic floor tends to remain in a state of constant tension, which paradoxically leads to weakness and dysfunction over time. Research in the Journal of Behavioral Medicine demonstrated that men who incorporated just 10 minutes of daily deep breathing or meditation showed a 38% improvement in pelvic floor relaxation ability compared to control groups. This relaxation capacity is equally important as strengthening, as a healthy pelvic floor must both contract and fully release. Nutritional support for your pelvic floor often gets overlooked. Yet certain dietary approaches can enhance your training results. Foods rich in zinc, like pumpkin seeds and oysters, magnesium, dark leafy greens, and omega-3 fatty acids, fatty fish, provide essential nutrients for muscle function and tissue repair. Additionally, adequate hydration with clean water supports pelvic tissue health, while reducing inflammatory foods like processed sugars and refined carbohydrates diminishes tissue irritation. Clinical nutritionists specializing in men's health recommend focusing on anti-inflammatory whole foods to support your pelvic training program. Consider technology-assisted training to enhance your results. Several FDA-approved biofeedback devices now provide real-time feedback on pelvic floor activation patterns, helping ensure you're engaging the correct muscles with optimal intensity. A comparative study in the Journal of Men's Health found that men using biofeedback devices achieved their training goals an average of 37% faster than those working without feedback. While these devices represent an investment, they remove the guesswork from your training and can significantly accelerate your progress, especially if you've struggled with properly identifying and isolating these muscles. Here's a powerful natural technique that enhances pelvic floor function, yet remains virtually unknown to most men. Contrast hydrotherapy. This simple but effective approach leverages temperature variation to improve blood flow to the pelvic region, enhance muscle responsiveness, and accelerate recovery between training sessions. Research published in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine showed that men who incorporated contrast hydrotherapy 3 times weekly experienced a 31% improvement in pelvic blood flow parameters compared to control groups, translating to enhanced erectile response and faster exercise recovery. The protocol is straightforward. End your shower with a cycle of temperature changes specifically directed at your lower abdomen, groin, and perineum, the area between your scrotum and anus. Begin with 60 seconds of comfortably warm water, followed by 30 seconds of cool water. Not cold enough to be shocking, but certainly cool enough to feel the contrast. Repeat this cycle 3 times, always ending with cool water. This sequence stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system in the pelvic region, while promoting circulation to tissues that often receive inadequate blood flow due to sedentary lifestyles. For enhanced effectiveness, combine this hydrotherapy approach with aromatherapeutic elements. Clinical research from the International Journal of Aromatherapy demonstrated that certain essential oils, particularly cypress, juniper berry, and rosemary, contain compounds that support circulatory health and tissue tone when applied in diluted form. Adding 3 to 4 drops of these essential oils, properly diluted in a carrier oil like coconut or jojoba, to a warm compress applied to the lower abdomen for 10 minutes before your contrast hydrotherapy can amplify the circulatory benefits. The timing of this natural intervention matters significantly. Sleep researchers at Stanford University found that pelvic floor recovery and tissue repair processes are most active in the 2 to 3 hours before bedtime, making evening the optimal time for this practice. Additionally, performing your contrast hydrotherapy after your pelvic floor exercises, rather than before, provides the ideal physiological environment for recovery and adaptation. This sequencing takes advantage of your body's natural rhythms to maximize results with minimal time investment. Remarkably, this technique addresses one of the most common but least discussed impediments to pelvic floor health: chronically restricted blood flow from prolonged sitting. Occupational health studies show that men who sit for more than 6 hours daily experience up to 30% reduction in pelvic blood flow, directly impacting tissue health and function. The contrast hydrotherapy technique effectively counteracts this restriction, making it particularly valuable for office workers, drivers, and others with sedentary occupations that unwittingly compromise their pelvic health daily. To create a complete natural solution, pair this hydrotherapy technique with the consumption of specific circulatory enhancing foods approximately 1 to 2 hours beforehand. Clinical nutritionists recommend foods rich in nitric oxide precursors such as beets, dark chocolate, 70% or higher cocoa content, watermelon, and leafy greens. A small 2018 study in the Journal of Sexual Medicine found that men who consumed nitric oxide-boosting foods before circulatory treatments experienced 23% greater improvements in pelvic blood flow than those receiving the treatments alone. This nutritional preparation creates an internal environment that maximizes the external therapy's effectiveness. We've journeyed through an aspect of male health that most men will never explore, yet those who do gain access to a level of vitality and control that transcends typical expectations of aging. By now, you understand that your pelvic floor isn't just another muscle group, but a foundation of male function that influences everything from sexual performance to urinary control to core stability. The exercises and techniques we've covered aren't merely beneficial, they're transformative when practiced consistently. Remember, this knowledge places you in an elite category of men who take complete ownership of their physical well-being. The science is unequivocal. Men who implement these practices experience measurable improvements in quality of life metrics that matter deeply. Whether you're currently experiencing challenges or wisely investing in prevention, the return on your 5-minute daily investment will compound over time. The comprehensive approach we've outlined, combining proper exercise technique, mindful alternatives, and natural circulation-enhancing methods, provides you with a complete system that addresses male pelvic health from multiple angles, creating synergistic effects that exceed what any single intervention could accomplish. I invite you to commit to a 30-day pelvic floor transformation challenge starting today. The men who experience the most dramatic improvements share one critical trait: they make an unbreakable commitment to daily practice. Write down your specific goals for this practice, whether related to erectile function, bladder control, prostate health, or overall vitality, and track your progress weekly. Share your commitment in the comments below, as public declaration significantly increases follow-through according to behavioral psychology research. This community can provide the accountability that turns information into transformation. If you found value in today's information, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell to ensure you never miss our evidence-based content on male optimization. Share this video with other men in your life who deserve access to this knowledge. Many are suffering silently, with issues they don't realize can be addressed naturally. Your share could be the turning point in someone's health journey. Additionally, drop any questions you have in the comments section, as I personally review them to guide future content and provide clarification where needed. As we conclude today's exploration, remember that reclaiming control over your most fundamental bodily functions isn't just about physical improvement. It's about psychological empowerment. The confidence that comes from knowing you're proactively maintaining your masculine vitality creates positive ripple effects throughout all aspects of life. The practices we've discussed today represent an investment not just in your current well-being, but in your future self. Always remember, the truth goes beyond the pill.